What up, what up, what up? This is Ramon here. Welcome to Real Life Decisions. Today, my guest is someone who is absolutely special to me in such a way that she's impacted my entire experience here at Hopkins. Now, some of these things she's hearing for the first time, so be surprised with her as I go through these things. But she's an absolutely wonderful person, and she is to me the epitome of a human being when it comes to considering someone else's existence as a real thing. That is exactly who she is. This is Amber Davies.
Hi.
Amber.
That's so unnecessary.
No, it's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
Some things have to be said. They have to.
Okay.
And I've learned to give people their flowers while I can give them to them. So
I'm not good at accepting flowers.
It's okay.
As you saw my hands going like this.
It's fine. I mean, that will never stop me from giving them to you.
That's fair. That's fair.
I can't deny myself of it. But Amber, tell the people just a bit about yourself. You know, what year you got here, your title, and one interesting fact about you that the average person may not know.
I wish I got these questions ahead of time. I would have thought.
This
Okay.
is surprising.
I know. Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Amber. I use she/her pronouns, and I'm currently a residence director here at Hopkins. But probably by the time this comes out, I will be ending my time at Hopkins and starting a new position. Sorry. Big yikes. I got here when did I get here? 2022. My first job post-graduate school. So a little bit about me. I'm a first-generation college student. So both my parents went through like trade schools. The youngest of 4, and I'm still the first person to complete like higher education. So went to undergrad. Didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Really liked being involved on campus, and my boss at the time was like, I was like, I don't know what to do post-grad. I wish I could just do like this stuff all the time. And she goes, Amber, I'm an adult and this is my job.
That's what I do.
And I was like, oh snap. So I took a year off just to work because I didn't have all my ducks in a row. And then I got into graduate school, where the program I was in, being like a first gen low income student, money was not necessarily easy. So with the program I was in, I got tuition remission, which means with my job that I worked for the university, it paid for my degree. So the only thing I had to pay was my like fees every semester, which was like $1,000. And because I got paid for the job, they just took the money out of my paycheck.
Yeah, that's good.
And it went right to the fees, so I didn't even see it, so I didn't even have to worry about paying it. And that's where I started working for housing. So again, free housing through grad school. During the pandemic, I started grad school in June of 2020. I moved 13 hours away.
What a dream.
It was a time. But then landed my role here at Hopkins, where I've been for just about 3 years. I'll be leaving just under 3 years. Something the average person wouldn't know about me, I really don't know. I would say my hiccups. I hiccup a lot, but like that is something like talk to me for 5 minutes and it'll probably happen. Yeah. And apologies if it does happen while the microphone is on. I'll try and stifle them. But I hiccup a lot. I don't know why. No, I haven't been to a doctor because doctors are scary. They're not gonna have an answer anyway. I've been to a doctor. I haven't been like, hey, this is my issue, because I'm just rolling with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Well,
Slay.
Interesting fact. I didn't know about the hiccups thing. I've never seen it. She seems to be pretty much in control while we're talking. So that is an interesting fact for me. I may have missed it. Where were you born?
New Jersey.
Born in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
She did mention earlier that, and I don't even, since I found out about it, I don't like talking about it. but she is leaving us end of May.
Beginning of May.
Beginning of May, Amber will be leaving. A part of why I asked her to do this now is because I almost wanted to catch her before she got out the door. This was going to be necessary, and hopefully it'll add to the perspective of Hopkins, not just as an institution, but as a community. That's really what this place needs to be. What is, if there are any, because I know 3 years is not like a long time, but it's enough time.
Yeah.
What is your most memorable moment since you've been here at Hopkins?
My most memorable moment, and I simply will never forget this, and you probably know exactly, as soon as I say it, you're gonna be like, yep. My first move-in day here.
Most memorable moment.
Most memorable moment. My first ever move-in, running a building of about 600 students.
Oh my gosh.
There was a fire, a real-life fire that triggered real-life sprinkler alarms. And we had to, on move-in day, reassign is not the word. We had to temporarily reassign and relocate 140 students on move-in day. That is something that, in the moment, I think I blacked out. I feel like it was like an outer body experience. But it is something that moving forward in like my career, whenever someone gets like, oh, what's a crisis you've handled? I'd be like, listen,
that crisis will get you a job.
It will. So that is definitely, I think, the most memorable like work related moment. I think in terms of like on like a mentorship level, I always say my office is like an office of tears, which is really funny because I feel like a lot of the time, whether it be the students I supervise, people who just live in the community, when you're coming to talk to the RD, especially if you just live in the community, it's like because something's going on. And so many people cry in my office, and I love it. I love that feels like a space where they're safe enough to like be vulnerable and be like just like have that moment where they can talk to someone about whatever the situation is. If it's home stuff, it's roommate stuff, if it's school stuff, it's post-grad stuff, that they can just be like, let those walls down and just like have someone listen to them who won't be like, well, this is what I would have done, and this is what you should be doing. Because most of the time I don't have answers, and I'm just someone who will listen and be of support in whatever that looks like to them.
I absolutely believe you as far as that being a space to cry in.
I myself have also cried in that office quite a few times.
She has, but she makes it so, she makes crying look pleasurable. Like, she'd have to explain how she does it, but it's, I brought up humanity earlier, and that's exactly what I meant, where you can make a person feel like a human being. This is a very pressured environment. There are a lot of things that I know these students have to deal with on a daily basis outside of the classroom. And I've been to the counseling center a few times. I've never seen anybody crying in the counseling center. So it kind of just goes to show how valuable Amber is to this community and what she gives back to it that is tangible. There are things you can walk out of that office and say, this is a real experience, and it will last much longer than after I close this door. I'm going to be able to reflect on and think about whatever, even if, like she said, she doesn't have all the answers, but sometimes having that safe space to cry is the answer. Sometimes that's all they really need, and she provides it willingly and selflessly. So again, I am going to always commend Amber for who she is. I'm going to miss her dearly. I told her when she told me she was leaving, I said, whoever gets your office, I'm giving them a hard time. I'm going to give them a hard time. I have to. because in my mind, you have to earn that office. I really don't know how it goes, but just working across the hall, her being someone I always have access to, she can help me in certain things and is always there, hands down. The next person, I hope you train and, oh yeah, you want, oh, see it?
No.
I'll have to train them myself.
Yeah.
I usually don't train RDs, but this time I'm gonna have to jump out that window and help out some, because Amber's, it's gonna be some shoes to fill when it comes to sitting in that office and just being supportive to the community. I have to see that from the next person that comes. So always grateful for her. Would you say, this is a strong term, would you say you're satisfied with your experience here at Hopkins? From any, in any context?
Yeah. I think yes. In the sense of, I feel like I've made an impact, not necessarily on the institution, but on the folks who I engage with.
Yes.
So like from a personal perspective, like when I was applying for jobs, I really didn't care where I got a job, and all I needed to do was get paid and get free housing. So I went to a mid-sized liberal arts public institution for undergrad. For grad school, I went to a large Southern public, no football, 30,000 people, the alumni are everywhere institution. And then when I was job searching, I was really applying anywhere. And I was like, the city could be fun. High achieving students could be fun. I like to think of myself as high achieving, but I'm not. My major was hospitality and tourism management. No, my classes were like a food and beverage management. No shade to any of us. The hospitality industry is the backbone of America. Hashtag HTMS for life. Anyway.
Hashtag we all eat.
We all eat. We all go on vacations. Yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh, so the institution, what drew me to it was that it was just a different population of students. And where I remember what the people who impacted me in undergrad were not necessarily the professor who I got the best grade in, or the people who I lived with, but it was like those moments of what I try to provide for my students, the space to try to, but also just like support people as humans was what I wanted to do. And I just had an inkling that like high achieving students at high achieving institutions need that in a different capacity than like even I needed it, because I was like just chilling with my major and had a good social life, and I had a good balance of things in undergrad. Not to say that there weren't struggles, but I just had an opinion that like these students might need that base level of support. So going back to the most satisfied leaving this place, or being at this place, the fact that like I still text with my like first set of RAs who were here.
Oh, that's good.
So 3 years ago, my first set of RAs, some of them I'm still writing letters of recommendation for. Me and one of the RAs, we haven't done it in a while, but we'll send voice notes that are like 20-minute updates of just what's been going on the past couple months.
That's valuable.
And just be like, listen to what just happened. And like even students who lived here who I may have engaged with, not necessarily for good reasons, be that a conduct meeting, be that a roommate conflict. At this point, if they lived in this building my first year, they would be seniors now if they're graduating in 4 years. So I've kind of like grown with them. And even to this day, like if we're passing in front of Charmar, they'll wave. Or someone last year who was having some roommate conflicts, I saw walking on the street and I was like, how did your first year leaving off campus go? Like all this stuff. So the fact that like people just don't straight up ignore me is lovely.
That's a good sign. Especially here.
Yeah, because they be doing that sometimes. Listen, I get it. I love not talking to people. But I think that is why I'm satisfied, is because like when I announced even like to my staff that I was leaving like last week or 2 weeks ago, one of my RAs texted me, was like, I just told my mom and she's so sad that you're leaving. And I'm like,
that's a real thing.
Right. So I don't necessarily think like satisfaction comes with, oh, I implemented this program or hit this factor of satisfaction in our student surveys. Like I could really give two flying fladoodles about that.
Yeah.
But that like student impact and like knowing that in some capacity I've impacted people, is like I can leave, and what makes it really hard. Because don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of things here that like professionally would be like really cool to be like boast about, and like I helped start a grad position and but like that's not why I got into this field. In that. Was to just make numbers and get medals for things. Like I could stay in RD level for the rest of my career and I'd probably be satisfied with that.
That's good. Amber's a prime example of not leaving a place the same way it was when you got there. I believe, and this is only my perspective, I'm just a male guy, I keep saying that. I'm only the male guy.
He's not.
But professionally, by profession,
sure.
I am.
We're both RD.
He's
an honorary RD.
I was born an RD.
Yeah.
But it's good when you can be in a position and kind of leave yourself with someone. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what these students you've referenced as far as just being there, no matter how much time goes and you even spoke on it, they will never forget you. And I think that, I know some college students who can't remember some of their professors. Mm-hmm. Don't remember every class they took, but they might remember that counselor or that RD or that one person that invested in them way past the classroom.
Right.
And there's value in that. I'm learning too, and as humble as this position is to be in, that's the only reason I'm actually doing this, to try to make a difference outside of handing you a package. If you can come to this mailroom and I give you a package and a message comes with it, I feel like now this package has more value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an honor to just watch you move. It is. It really is an honor to watch you move. Not on, but but just move in your space.
Yeah.
And you set a precedent for RAs now. I mean, for RDs now, in my mind. They have to have some of what you have, if not all. I don't expect them to have all of it, but I expect them to have some of what you have because of the position you're in. You are, in this type of environment, you're front line. When it comes to a student or a resident or whoever we call them has issues, you're probably be one of the first people they reach out to try to resolve it, whether it be an emotional issue, a placement issue, whatever it is. You stand in the gap between crisis and resolution. Mm-hmm. Like it's always you, and I've always admired that. Even the RDs are already here, no shade on you, but you're gonna need to be more Amberish if I'm to be honest about it. Now, I believe you all do a good job, if you even see this. Who knows? Who absolutely knows?
I'm gonna make sure they all specifically see this part.
Just in case. I appreciate it. Just in case, I don't know, you set a precedent.
Thank you.
And it's been an absolute honor to be across the hall, up the hall. Amber's the first person who did not have to come to the mailroom and get their packages. I felt almost obligated to support her as much as she supports everybody else. It wasn't even about she did something for me, so now I have to do something for her. I witnessed her doing something for somebody else and felt like, okay, let me just do a bit extra. And then that same grace I showed to Amber started to stretch to the RAs, where they can come in the mailroom anytime they want to pick up packages. You know what I mean? It's like a domino effect. Mm-hmm. And you were the first domino when it boils down to it.
Wow.
So, it's just a pleasure. What would you change?
Oh my.
I would too, to be honest.
Right. We all would.
I guess from a professional perspective, maybe. Mm-hmm. And if it kind of leaks over into personal or whatever, so be it. It's your perception. What would you change?
I think for me personally, Coming from an institution, both kind of at grad, but mostly in my undergrad, where like I really felt connected on campus.
Okay.
In terms of knowing administration and like feeling comfortable just going around and like asking for help, or like on Halloween, the former president and his wife would do reverse trick-or-treating and walk around campus like handing candy out to students as they passed by. His name was Harvey. What a guy. I think Hopkins is a small enough campus where the Homewood campus specifically, where that should be the norm. Be the culture, That should be like, you shouldn't only see the president at convocation and graduation, or like walking around with a bunch of guys in suits who are really intimidating. Me, the first time I met the president here, I didn't even say hi to him. He was walking his dogs, and I was like, oh my God, dogs. And so I was like kneeling down, petting the dogs, and my supervisor at the time was talking to this person, and I was just like, look at these two cool dogs. So he goes off and does whatever, and the admin at the time goes, Amber, do you know who that was? And I was like, no. She was like, that was president of the university. I was like, and I didn't even say hi to him. But I think, and I know like
I got what you're saying.
As a enigma, right? Like he has a lot of things he has to do. He probably doesn't have time to, he has a lot more things on his plate than like
full introductions.
Right. But I think it shows that when you do have upper administration that you feel like is visible and is seen, and has genuine, like, not saying Ronnie D doesn't, but like shows that interest in what is happening on campus, what the students are feeling, and actually doing something about it. It's pretty powerful. And I think that's why I always, even though undergrad was a really, really, really difficult time for me, for many different reasons, but the fact that even in like the hardest moments to this day, I'm like, no, I have so many more positive memories about being able to, like, the vice provost of academic affairs like wrote my recommendation letters for grad school. I could just be like, hey Tom, I'm applying for grad school, can you write me a letter? And he was like, sure. He would invite the orientation leaders over to like do a barbecue on 4th of July, because that's when we were working.
That's nice.
So that connection, I think, with upper admin, and I don't work here. I'm not at this point, probably won't be working here anymore. And I don't want to say that a lot of the stuff the university does is performative, but I think it can be perceived that way a lot of times. So I think that's something that I would want to change, because especially one of the first sayings that I heard when I got here was, students don't go to Hopkins, they go through Hopkins. So if I had all the power in the world, like, would make them go to Hopkins, like change programming models and really find that help students get that sense of belonging. That is so important. And everyone loves their numbers and stuff, and sense of belonging directly relates to retention. And so
of course,
if people don't feel connected here, they're not going to want to stay here.
Exactly.
So it helps everyone, right? It helps Res Life have more people living here. It helps retention with their numbers, so they can get close to that 100% retention. Like, it helps everyone. And it fosters that sense of like Hopkins pride, other than just the name on the certificate at the end of the 4 years. And you'd be like, I went to Hopkins, but you like went to Hopkins.
I was a member of, community of, family of. That makes it. I told Solian after I did our interview last week, said it's weird. I look at this campus being, this is the most diverse environment I've ever been in.
Absolutely.
Especially on a consistent basis, everyday diversity. And I've had my opportunities to travel the world some. And still didn't get this much exposure, even being in their space. I still didn't get to learn as much as I do here. And I thought to myself, if I don't get an opportunity to go around the world and just see and do and talk to, commune with, fellowship with other people, I can come to work and the world is around me. It is around me. You know what I mean? And like you said, this Homewood campus is not big enough where we have to, put out a APB on who.
Right.
I mean, everybody's right here.
Right.
To be in this environment so small and yet lack the social culture it needs, to me, it's a representation of the planet. Like, this is the world on a smaller scale. We're all on the same planet, but y'all want to be over here. They want to be over there. That group wants to be over there, that group, and nobody knows each other. The problem is here on this small campus, Hopkins at Homewood doesn't have an excuse for it.
Right.
The planet does.
Right.
I can understand. I can't just get on a plane and go to Zimbabwe and learn their culture.
Right.
But if I can walk out in this hallway and 12 Nigerians pass me in a 10-minute span, the answers that I may want to experience their culture are right there, but nobody knows each other. And just like you said, when you change the culture of getting to know each other, making it feel like a family, not only do you address the retention issue, now people want to be in this environment. Recruiting or however y'all get people to come, I don't know, but that even gets easier because you're getting the type of person that would come to Hopkins now.
Right.
Right now, it's just a high achieving university and all that matters is your degree and, whatever the case. But even in the department we're in, on campus living, it has everything to do with outside of the classroom. Majority of the experiences that these students have nothing to do with a pen, book, exam. It's the time when they walk out their classroom and now they have to go be social. They have to try. Sometimes they have to strive to get back to their apartments without being social.
Right.
I have to avoid people. Oh no, I don't want to be seen. Don't talk. Why not?
Right.
Something has to change the culture. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is because we need to, I read the Bible some.
Just a little bit.
It says, know who you labor among.
Okay.
Know the people you have to know
with,
something about the people you work with every day.
Yeah.
Whether work be you getting a check for it or whether work be you're getting a grade for it. Whether work be you are working towards a thing that makes you more socially strong or socially aware or adept. All that's work, but you have to know who you're working with to get the job. They talk teamwork all the time. Football teams, basketball teams, sports, whatever. That is not solely for those particular spaces.
Yeah.
Everything is teamwork. If that was the case, we would all have our own planet.
Right.
There's a reason we're here at the same time, in the same space, sometimes even striving for the same thing, but we want to be individuals so bad. The thing about it is, you're born an individual. That's nothing you have to fight for. You're going to be that no matter what.
Right.
Where is the connection between one individual and another? You look at social media, and one term that annoys me the most about social media is the term follow or follower.
Okay.
It annoys me.
Why?
Because nobody's leading anybody anywhere.
They could be.
The platform can be used for it.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the purpose of it. That doesn't mean that's why they're using it. A lot of people want followers just so I can watch you cook eggs for 3 hours. Now, yeah, it could be interesting to somebody that likes eggs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It will fly. And I'm not even, I get caught up in some of those. I'm a follower.
Yeah.
So I'm not even saying I don't follow people. I do. But I would like, especially in an environment, when you're here every day and you see that following really doesn't have the real, it's almost like a false follow kind of thing. Because when if I follow you online, but I see you in Nolan's Cafe and I say nothing to you.
Okay.
Why do I follow you if I can't take the real version of you when you're right there in my face?
I think most people, though, I'd say
just as much. And people follow people they already know too.
Right. I would say aside from like TikTok, I'd say most platforms like Facebook, yes or no, Twitter, Instagram, folks follow people in some capacity that they have met before. Yes, there's the subsect of like the famous people and the influencers or like whatever the case may be. But like, I think for the most part, on those platforms, the one that people like engage with more, it is a little bit more personal.
But what do you do when you follow a person, or how do you see it when they follow a person online? And again, when you get that chance to really be around them, there's no engagement. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I'm trying to think back to like there's probably still people I follow on Instagram who I like followed from like high school, where if I saw them on the street, I would definitely not say hi to them.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I haven't talked to you in 15 years. Oh, 15 years. No, I'm not that old yet. I am coming up on my 10. Well, I just got the invitation for our 10-year high school reunion. Yeah, that's a whole nother.
I'm not even talking about that number.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I think for the most part, especially in a first year transition into college, that is almost the connection.
Yeah, that's
so we meet once, we meet during a week, we meet during whatever the program is. And we're like, oh, you're kind of cool. Let's follow each other on whatever. Then that is the like the shred that people do have to make the decision to act on. I'm like, okay, I saw Ramond at the I can't even
all staff meeting.
The all student welcome thingy.
Yeah.
And we follow each other, and I know he lives in Commons and I live in Commons. Wow, okay. I know we already follow each other, so it's not weird if I just go up and say hi.
Yeah.
It's not weird because we already made that connection.
Yeah.
I don't think most people are, and I could be wrong. I'm years.
You're changing my perspective, so I'm just listening.
No, I know, but I'm like thinking, well, this would have been like what I would have done in college. I don't know if that's different for students now, but like I really didn't follow people I didn't know, or at least had met.
I may be weird then. If I go online and I come across a page and someone maybe has something influential to say, and I may go to their page first and let me just see if this is a consistent thing.
Right.
Let me just see if they always talk like this.
Yeah.
Or present this type of information. And if I like it, whether I know you're not, I'm gonna follow because I need what you're offering.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and it is to the point, at least now, where if I see that particular person in public, I'm gonna walk up and say, hey, your page is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I follow you. Are we taking accountability for who's following? You know what I mean? Are we watching what we post, even though we know people are following this? Am I gonna? Yes, it's a free space to express what you feel, how you feel it, when you feel it, where you feel it. And I welcome all of that because that's the individuality.
Right.
I get to be who I want to be. But some people start to, even the people that's posting, sometimes they'll post and then when they come offline, they're concealed. They're to themselves. I don't want to, but you know what I mean? But you're putting yourself out there to be approached about a thing.
But it's different. I don't know. It's different. It's like, okay, I post a TikTok of a trend, right? And it's a dance thing or something. I don't know. I've never done that. I'm not.
Check her page first before.
No, don't even say that. Because I do have some embarrassing TikToks up, but I'm not going to take them down. But if I don't remember where I was going with that.
But I was saying that sometimes they conceal themselves once they put that post out, and then it's like, let me step back. I don't really want to be approached. I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to be. I just want to exist on my page, and then when I come outside and walk around, I just want to be a regular person like everybody else. Sometimes
that'd be the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's why Chris Brown and them can't just go to the market right now. You're too influential. Now to that extent, I get it, because. And it also has to do with what you're offering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on what I wouldn't mind if someone came to me and said, I saw your podcast, I'm absolutely encouraged. Right. I love the interviews, I love the guests. Like, it's just, I can take that.
Yeah.
If I have a multi-platinum album, I'm not coming outside.
Absolutely.
I'm just not.
I barely want to go outside now.
I'm not gonna do it. But even if it was an album and the music was positive, and I'm changing lives with it, I think there's still a lot of pressure in that. So it's a thin line. It's a thin line, but considering Hopkins, there's no excuse. The social culture here is almost scary to me.
Yeah, it's just different, and I think post-COVID, it's
that's what did it. I think that's what pushed it over the edge. I do believe, because now being antisocial is justified. After COVID, during COVID, people got comfortable with, well, I can't be around you anyway, so good. I can just put my mask on and mind my business. We can't 6 feet and all these extra things. I think some of them took it like literally, like this is life. This is a comfortable way to exist, especially on this campus where it's already separate, or at least cliques. There are a lot of cliques. And I just think Hopkins as a university deserves better than that. If you can represent everything else, one thing I think, me not going, like I grew up in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Hopkins was always Hopkins. I mean, like this is, I Brown and all those didn't even exist to me. Like this is exactly what I thought the highest level of education could be. Mm-hmm. Then I get to work in here and I say, oh, that's, it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's not go.
It's different.
It was different from my expectations. Correct. I expected differently. And it was almost like culture shock, and I had never been in the culture.
Yeah.
I just didn't believe it was this way. And, you know, it needs to be addressed, and thank God for people like Amber who come in and they give themselves to an environment, and the environment embraces, you know, that type of, that people who move like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Amber, one more question.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been asking this to everybody. Mm-hmm. You had to rate Hopkins on whatever whatever gauge you'll use. Rate Hopkins from 1 to 10. 10 being the best.
It's not a 10.
I mean,
it's not.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's,
I don't know. I think in some capacities, it's really great. Some of the work that is happening and coming out of Hopkins is absolutely incredible and way too complex for my mind to even comprehend. But then there's still some things where I'm like, we're not even doing this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it depends. And it's going to be different for like every person, right? Because everyone values something differently.
Exactly.
Some people might come here and be like, yep, 10 out of 10. I got my degree. I got right into med school.
I got out of it.
I got in and out, no debt. Yeah. Solid 10 out of 10. Some people might be like, nope, this was absolutely the worst. I'm here for a semester and this is not my vibe and I'm going to go. So I don't know. I think for me, I would say like 6.5. And I mean,
that's fair.
And I think that's because, like I said, I loved my undergraduate experience for the most part. And I often I try not to be the person like, back when I was an undergrad, right. To compare like, well, yes, there are some things that when I was an undergraduate student, there are things that I went through that the current undergraduate population are still going through. Yeah. But this is a totally different institution than my institution was. Mm-hmm. So there are things that I wish Hopkins did more of, but I still think there are things that Hopkins does well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so Amber said 6.5, and I think that's fair. Not that I can question it anyway.
It's my grading.
It's hers. I think that's fair though, and I've gotten higher numbers, and theirs seemed fair too for the sake of what they're gauging,
right, to
get to that higher number. But I think so far, yours has been the lowest, and but it's also been the most, I can't say genuine because I know the answers have been genuine.
I think it's just a different perspective.
Yeah, maybe, and you're the first staff member I've interviewed as well. So I know staff and student ratings are going to be
experiences are very different.
But hopefully somebody from Hopkins sees this and you get a genuine perspective of how people see this institution. It matters how we see it as the ones who have to experience it every day. When you start to disregard these experiences, you're throwing Hopkins away quicker than you probably want to. So if anybody from upper management sees this, I'd love my job. Don't come and try to fire me because I'm saying what I want. But it matters that you know how people see this campus, what they get from it, and what they put into it. So, if y'all see it, keep that in mind. Amber, you have been wonderful. As always,
Thanks.
Nothing changes. Oh my God. I have I've gone on Amazon and I've ordered 3 boxes of Kleenex. So when Amber leaves, I'm telling y'all now, I'm gonna cry because she matters. 1000% she matters. And I know that school up in New Jersey is about to be spoiled. I mean, if she gives anything close to what she gave here, that particular campus should expect a change. Expect it. And it might even be quick. So, if you see Amber...
Oh, I thought you were going to close it, and then but I wanted to say...
No, I'm not...
I didn't know what your...
I need my...
okay, your little...
No, but yeah.
Thing. Okay, continue.
But yeah, it's... if you see Amber anywhere, please speak. Even though we know she's on her way out. Treat her like you knew she'd been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Amber said she had something to say.
I did, because I was thinking about, as you were just talking, how you were like, oh, I'm going to give you flowers anyway. Well, I'm going to give you your flowers, too.
What you do with your hands? What you say?
Yeah, my awkward hands that I just do when I'm uncomfortable. Well, no, but seriously, I think for me as a staff member, well, just as a human in general, I'm very introverted. The first probably 6 months I was here, I didn't do anything even with RDs. I was nope, I'm gonna stay home. I was very just overstimulated with everything. And it takes a while for me to get close with people or just have relationships with folks, to be okay, are we friends? Are we not friends? Are we just coworkers? What is the vibe? And I think about, when you did start bringing mail into the office and stuff like that, I had this moment of reflection. I think it was with Kiana. We were me and Kiana were lucky because her office was right across from mine at the same time. So we had a staff person all the time where I could just yell across the hall and be hello, but thinking about the mailroom is a really solitary place sometimes. So I, just sometimes, but I think you pushed me to want to make more relationships with other staff. In the sense of I need to, I'm okay with just going home and not talking to anyone until next morning at 9 a.m. But that is not the case for other people. They want to have those relationships with folks they work with and stuff like that. So I really enjoy our conversations. Absolutely. He's helping me sell my car next week in some capacity. Literally, I was I need to get rid of my car. And I said, Ramon, do you know what are your thoughts? So as much as I'm an adult or whatever I am, how old am I? 27. There are still things that I need help with and I need to lean on other people for. So Ramon is great. Ramon is wonderful. And he makes more of an impact than I think he even knows. Even there was one day where I was coming to, come get something, and there was a student, and I know he lives here, but that's about it. And you came up, and he was coming early for a package that he needed, but the mailroom wasn't open, the whole nine. And you were like, oh, insert name here, right? Oh, you're on the sports team or whatever, and you knew more about the student than I did. So I was and that matters, and that matters to students when you have those moments of I'm not just a face in the hall, and I'm not just the person who I have these connections with, or even those little tidbits that you were saying right at the beginning of getting a package and a message. It matters to students. And so even talking about this podcast, I plugged it to the RAs and stuff to be oh my God, that's such a good idea. I want to go talk on it.
And they'll be soon. And I thank you. I'm kind of mirroring what I see you do. I don't want to leave it the same place the same way I found it. That's really what it is. There were the hiccups. Oh my God, we caught one.
That was it.
We caught a hiccup.
See, but I kept my mouth shut, so it wasn't that loud.
Yeah, but
maybe the mic.
Yeah, that mic picked it up. But yeah, I'm just trying to mirror what I see done from the positive people. I'm not mirroring everybody, but you're one of those people I don't mind. Oh man, I saw Amber do that. I saw Amber carry a situation that way, or I saw Amber show compassion in a situation. And it gives me a reason to at least practice it, whether I'm gonna be good at it or not yet,
right.
Who knows? So, I'm just trying to give of myself the same way you do. So, that's kind of what it is, but I definitely appreciate you. And it has nothing to do with work, coming for being who you are. Some people are irreplaceable.
You're about to say irritating.
Oh, that too.
That too. No, absolutely, that too.
And Amber's one of those irreplaceable people. If you see her on campus or anywhere in the world, and you've seen this, show her some love. She deserves it. She deserves it.
I might be awkward and uncomfortable, but that's okay. And I'll be fine.
She'll survive. Absolutely.
I'll survive.
So thank y'all so much for joining. Who knows who'll be next week? Maybe I can find Ronnie Daniels walking them dogs somewhere and get him to come and sit and talk. I mean, wishful thinking. Who knows? Like I always say, you're one thought away, always one thought away from changing your life for the rest of your life if you only believe it. So watch what you think. See y'all next time. Holla.
Holla.